Love is Blind Season 9 is nearing the end, and so are some of these relationships. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, it's Nay. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. This video will contain spoilers for Love is Blind Season 9, episodes 10 and 11. If you haven't seen them yet and you do not want spoilers, save this video and come back after you do. You are about to hear my thoughts on episodes 10 and 11, but of course I want to hear yours, so feel free to drop your thoughts below if you do want to participate in the conversation, and give this video a like and a hype before you go. While I have you here, I am also doing Nostalgic Vlogtober right now. The last video I did was on Are You Afraid of the Dark Season 1. The next video I am doing is probably the most unserious video I've ever recorded in my life. It comes out on Friday, and it's about the preschool cartoon Bananas in Pajamas and how I actually think that that was a horror TV show. So if you want to watch me try to explain that, then definitely check that video out on Friday. A couple of announcements. I am also holding a Vlogtober movie night on Discord. We're going to be watching Hocus Pocus. I think the announcement is up on the community tab now, so if you want to know times, check out my community tab, but it's going to be at 5:30 PST and 8:30 EST. So that's the 24th of October, so that's next week. Come hang out, watch Hocus Pocus. I'll be there even if no one else is there, so just trickle on in whenever you can. And then the Love is Blind reunion is going to be on the 29th of October, and whatever time that's happening is the time that we'll be watching it. If you've watched the reunion with me before, you know that we start on time because I know we all want to get to the tea quickly. You can find the link for Discord to join both of those watch parties in the description box. Now let's get started with Joe and Madison. First, I want to acknowledge this comment that I received. So MM7365 saw me and I Be Chillin's live stream, basically like saying that we were kind of being rude to Joe because we should have watched this interview that he did where he talked about the fact that he had anxiety and Madison was stressing him out the whole time, and that Joe is actually a good guy. And to that I said, one, I base my reviews based off of what's happening in the show. When I am covering a show, I actually actively avoid anything that I see on social media about the show because I don't want it to influence my opinion negatively or positively. I don't want to have a good opinion about somebody because of some interview I saw outside the show, and I don't want to have a bad opinion on somebody. So I actively avoid anything that's happening while the show is happening. I also don't want spoilers, just like y'all don't want spoilers. However, when y'all come to me with new information, I take that into account, and sometimes I change my opinion based off of it. Three, and probably the most important thing, y'all know I'm just a regular person, right? I have a 9-to-5 job and I do YouTube on the side. Let me put this into perspective for you. These episodes take hours to watch, and I don't mean just the 1 hour that the episode is. It takes me about an hour and 45 to 2 hours to watch a 1 hour episode because I'm pausing, I'm rewinding, I'm taking notes. You know, I do pretty thorough reviews. Y'all know that. Those of you who have been here for several seasons, even if you've been here for just this season, you know that I tend to do pretty thorough reviews on these episodes. And so I'm putting a lot of time into watching. On top of that, the way that I do my videos takes 6 to 8 hours to edit at minimum. Sometimes it's more. Expecting me to see every single interview that someone does outside of the show, I just don't have the time to do it. If I was a full-time YouTuber, I would absolutely hear you on that because then I would have the time. Like, this is all I do. Of course I would have time to look up everything. But I'm just a regular girly. I don't have editors. I don't have insider connection to these people. I'm just a girl on YouTube, okay? Please don't make me out more to be than I am. I'm just a girl on YouTube. It is just me and these rabbits working on these videos, and they don't have thumbs, so they're not really putting in too much help with the editing. This is actually where y'all come into play. I love the community that we are building here. And if y'all see something, say something. Y'all know I'm not opposed to getting new information, changing my opinion, being raw, all that. But you can't expect me to see every interview that someone does. So I just wanted to acknowledge that comment. I see you, I hear you, but give me some grace. I cannot be everywhere all the time. Now, with that new information, Joe's anxiety could very well be the way that he was acting at that tux fitting, or it could just be that he didn't want to get married.
Do you want to do tie and
pattern? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Do you want to try on pants just for size?
No, we're good.
Let's do this tomorrow. I gotta get the fuck out of here. I can't do this.
But as someone with anxiety, and I mean certified on medication for anxiety, if Joe's anxiety is that bad, then Joe just needs to go ahead and get himself a psychiatrist and free himself. I have bad anxiety. I have terrible social anxiety. Y'all see me out in the real world. If I'm awkward, attribute it to that. And if I'm not being awkward, know that I'm faking it because that's what my therapist taught me to do. Oh, well, that's what my psychologist taught me to do. I have a psychologist, you know, they can't, look, we going on a little tangent. Psychologists can't prescribe medicine. So my psychologist gives me all of these natural remedies, you know. When you go into a social situation, pretend that you're not nervous, pretend that you're not anxious, and over time it'll get easier. So a lot of times when I'm in social settings, I literally am faking it until I make it. And I've been out of practice. I'm gonna be real. I've been out of practice in a lot of social settings where I don't know people since 2020. So I'm a little rusty. So if you see me out in the wild and I'm giving off awkward vibes, don't go telling people I'm weird. Just know that that's why. I also have general anxiety. I just sometimes just get super anxious out of nowhere. I also have terrible anxiety flying. The thing that pushed me to get medicated actually for that is because I was on a very short flight, probably like an hour and a half flight, and I got so anxious that I sat there and I cried the entire flight. And I was like, this is one, embarrassing. Can't let that happen again. Two, this shit has gotten really bad. It's time for me to fix this. If you know within yourself that it is that bad, go on over, get you a psychiatrist and get you them little white pills. They gonna fix it for you. Them playing man-child at the end of that scene though was uncalled for. I was like, ooh, not they about to play that. And Madison kept asking him why he was breaking up with her. And she wanted to know if there was someone else.
Is there somebody else that you want to like
No, absolutely.
explore things with, like in the singles?
No, absolutely not.
And he kept telling her, look, there is no one else. It's just not you. And to me, that was a perfectly acceptable answer. I know that I've been making Joe out to be the bad guy this season because I think he's been the bad guy this season. But to me, in this situation, he was actually way more rational than her. Being like, oh, so you want to think about me with somebody else? Yeah, girl, he don't care. He don't care. He might be, acting like it's hard right now, but he doesn't care because it doesn't affect him because he doesn't want to be with you. The feelings are gone. The answer is just no. No is a complete sentence. It doesn't feel right for him, and that's okay, whether you accept it or not. She's mad that he didn't have an emotional reaction when they were breaking up, but she should know by now that a lot of times when people break up physically, they already checked out emotionally a long time ago. And considering it's only been, 4 weeks in this situation, he probably checked out right around when he met her because he wasn't attracted to her.
I feel relieved. Like a weight is off my shoulders.
Feeling relieved after a breakup is a surefire way that the breakup was the right thing to do. Altar prediction for these two, obviously they're not going to the altar. On to Nick and Annie. Are any of us surprised? Nick was waiting for an out this entire season and he used Annie's insecurity as an excuse. I can't even be mad at that. He saw his opportunity. He said, this is my chance now or never. Even before they had that argument that made him leave, he was trying his damn hardest to look into giving her a kiss. She was like, I want another. And he was like, oh no, another. Oh, like that's what it was given. It was given like, I've already done it once. Is that not enough for you? I've already suffered through enough here. It was kind of hard to watch.
Come here. More, please.
Now, in regards to Annie's insecurity, I think that Annie would be an insecure type of person regardless of who she's with because I think she has a very anxious attachment style. But I do think it was worse in this situation because of the fact that Nick was giving off vibes that he wasn't into it. And that's because, for lack of a better way to say it, she ain't his type. But I do also think there's a part of her that wanted to be married so bad that she still would have went through with it knowing that he wasn't feeling it. She still would have said yes.
How long do you want to drag this out for?
So I don't know if it's that she's so in on him or that she's so in on the idea of marriage that she would have said yes to whoever it was. That's kind of the vibe that I get. Even though she's saying, no, it's all you. I don't think it's him. I think it's the idea of him. I mean, look at her reaction when he was leaving. He was telling you, girl, I am done. I'm out. And she was like, well, good luck trying. Basically, that's what she was saying.
This is where I think we do have to stop.
No.
Nick,
If-
no. No.
You can't tell me to stand up there and marry you.
I have no doubt that if the cameras hadn't been there, she would have physically barricaded the door and like physically stopped him from leaving. She gives off that type. After the breakup, however, these two individually both said the two most honest things that they have said all season. Nick said,
You can't make 1 + 1 = 3.
and Annie said,
This is like your plan like the whole time. Like I wish you'd have just told me.
and Nick is absolutely right. One man and one man was never gonna equal a woman. And I wholeheartedly believe that it was Nick's plan to say no. He was either gonna say no at the altar or he was gonna find a way to get out of it. It just so happened that he had an out beforehand. You know why I say plan? Because he set up this out. Earlier in the season, he told her, if you put words in my mouth again, I'm not gonna be able to handle that. He basically found a fault, a crack in the relationship, and he was like, I'm gonna exploit that. And that's what he did. I shouldn't even really use the word exploit because I don't think it's exploitation. It would have never worked out unless it was gonna be a lavender marriage. That's it, that's all. And the thing is, I think that he probably came on the show hoping to make it work with the woman. Genuinely wanting to give it the old college try. But he got to it, he was like, girl, I just can't do it. It's nothing about you. Like, girl, we can hang out, we could be friends, but there's nothing about you that I'm attracted to. And there never will be because you're not a man. Like, I think he wanted to try. Like I Be Chillin' said, he tried to try. He tried to try. He said that about Joe, but I'm saying it about Nick. Alter prediction? Clearly no. So how many couples have fallen out already? Patrick and what's her name? These 2 couples. And then we had Anna leave. So that's 4 already out. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
You
see how
cut
you
me
do
off
it?
all the time, though.
Okay.
You
Bruh,
cut me
stop
off
fucking
way.
talking to me, bitch, because you're not letting me talk.
This woman has been pushed to her limits. Now, me personally, I've never called anyone out of their name during an argument. I just don't think I have it in me. Like, I don't know what it would take for me to bring myself to do that. I can't see it happening. But, you know, I guess I can understand how other people get there. I don't know. It's a bit extreme for me personally, but I'm trying to understand how somebody could get there. I would assume you had to be pretty upset for something like that to happen. Edmond is a whole lot of things. But even if he didn't have all that other stuff going on, he is not the type of person who is a helpful partner or a partner who takes accountability. And those 2 things alone would be enough to say no at the altar. He wouldn't help her shop for the mixer. He didn't help her out when they were on top of the mountain. And that's why she made that little slick comment like, thanks for helping me down, because he didn't help. I think that she wants and deserves a partner who is going to be a partner. Someone who is going to show up when she needs it without her having to ask. That's the key point. Without her having to ask. Because if you have to ask, then, you know, what's the point? And the thing is about that, people might disagree with me on this, but I don't think that's something that you can teach someone into doing. Basically what I'm saying is, it's going to have to become part of their character or already be part of their character. But you can't make them do it. If someone is not a thoughtful type person, if someone is not I picked you up these random flowers on a Monday, you know, evening, if they're not that type of person, you're going to be hard pressed to get them to become that type of person. And it's not fair to them for you to try to change them. And it's not fair to you because that's not what you want. And you know what? There is a part of me that believes that Edmond is trying to make her look crazy. He's only wants to have these arguments off cam, and when they get on cam, according to her, and when they get on cam, he's pretending like everything's hunky-dory and nothing's wrong. So to me, that's you trying to make her look like she's just bringing up this stuff, you know, randomly, and like she's crazy. Like you're making her seem like a crazy black woman, and I don't like that. To me, Edmond gets her heated almost on purpose and then tells her to calm down. So you get to rile me up, but once I'm upset, I gotta calm down now? No.
At this point, you know how to push me and you just be doing this shit.
I totally agree with her.
If I don't think I'm in the wrong, I'm not gonna be saying I'm sorry because you're gonna know I'm not serious.
And to me, honestly, sometimes in a relationship, you apologize. Maybe you don't feel wrong for what you did, but you should feel wrong for hurting the other person, for hurting your person. And so you should at least apologize for that. And it doesn't seem like he's willing to do that. If this was a one-off, I probably wouldn't even be bringing it up. But it seems to be a pattern with Edmond. And I believe her when she says that he doesn't apologize or take accountability because we saw his mom do the same thing. She's trying to take credit for raising him into the man that he is, raising his siblings into the men that they are. But Edmond told us that he was in and out of the system in some type of capacity. So she didn't raise him in the way that she's trying to take credit for. And so she, again, does not take accountability. And I wonder if she's ever said sorry to him and his siblings. I do hear where Edmond is coming from, where he's saying, well, it feels like you only have negative things to say about me. I do. I hear him out. But I've seen Kalybriah, like I said, dote on him and say good things about him and do good things for him. So I don't believe that that's all she does. It seems that it kind of comes in waves. Like right now, it feels like a lot of negative. And so you're feeling overwhelmed by it. But hyperbole, when you're in an argument, is never a good thing. You can't say, oh, you always do this, you only do this now. Because that's rarely ever true. He wants her to be nice 24/7 all the time. And that's simply not going to happen. She doesn't have to coddle you. You're a grown man. Grow up. Alter prediction, she absolutely better say no. They both should, but she better. Now, when it comes to Anton, I'm starting to think he might actually have a drinking problem. Down in a 12-pack of beer or whatever it was with Patrick, like all these little things that are adding up over time that points to the fact that he liked to drink, he liked to party. And here's the thing for me, he doesn't come off as an alcoholic, and that's why I said drinking problem. He doesn't come off as an alcoholic, but he just seems like someone who likes to drink a lot, and that might sound like the same thing, but I guess what I'm saying is he seems too well put together. He teaches driving, so he has to be somewhat put together, but he could just be a functioning alcoholic, right? That's a thing. So maybe he's just super high functioning alcoholic. I will give him at best, he has a problem with drinking. And Allie was saying, well, your normal work week is you haven't wanted to do drinks a week. And he was like, well, your normal work week is you being a slob. And if he really wanted to make a comparison in that moment, he should have said, well, I might be addicted to drinking, but you're addicted to Botox. Because that's more in line with being on the same page, especially when you talk about health-wise too, because Botox is also not that great to be injecting that stuff into your body and, you know, all that stuff. He is making it hard to make a case for him though. I'll definitely say that. Because she was like, do we still have the tequila? And he, knowing that they didn't have it anymore, still got up and looked in the refrigerator and said, no, well, I guess we don't have it.
Is the tequila still in the fridge?
Sure.
No, that one's not.
You knew that tequila was not in that refrigerator before you got your ass up. Don't play. It's kind of giving alcoholic. I don't know. Then he was like, look, I drink, you drink, we all drink. But I think the point that he's missing is that Allie drinks in social situations. She's a social drinker like most people are. And because they are in a social experiment right now, it might seem like she drinks a lot, but she pretty much is only drinking in social settings. Even the time when she's had a drink with him has been socially. He drinks in social settings, outside of social settings, when the sun is shining, when it's raining outside, when he had a bad day, when he had a good day, when he had an okay day. He's more than a social drinker. And so that's the piece that he's missing. And that's the piece that an alcoholic would miss. Oh, I'm not doing it that much. It's you know, when really it's like often. And so he might not be an alcoholic, and she might be someone who expects and asks for a lot, but in this situation, I do not think she's over exaggerating at all. They were talking about what it takes to make a marriage work, and he's like, well, these days people give up too easily. You gotta be in it, ride or die, thick and thin. And she made it very clear. It's a thin line between love and hate. If I need to go, I'm leaving.
It's like a fine line between compromise and sticking around with something that's just not meant to be.
He was like, oh, okay. So don't get too comfortable. Alter prediction, both need to say no. But I do get a feeling that he's gonna say yes and she's gonna say no. Side note, I love Allie's dress. I usually don't really like plain dresses like this, but more and more they're starting to appeal to me. Like, I think they're really beautiful and classy and classic. Last but not least, we have Jordan and Megan. Now, y'all know I don't really have too much to say about the wedding dress fittings because I feel like it's just like a bunch of fluff. But Megan's friend Jeremy, yeah, no questions asked. No, hands down. These two continue to look like they're gonna make it, but I think when it comes down to it, they just don't have that much in common.
Trying to get conversation out of you, it's like, yeah, cool, or like, yes, no, and it's like, I need more than that. Like, I want a little more stimulation. I'm just grasping at straws trying to find things to talk about with you sometimes.
Sometimes I just want to like sit next to you and watch a movie. And I don't know if like that's a deal breaker for you.
They bonded very early on in the pods over the type 1 diabetes situation, and I think that may have caused them to kind of trauma bond in a way. Strong word, I know, but I think that's a little bit of what happened. Is like they bonded very quickly over that, and maybe they didn't go into enough, we don't see everything, but maybe they didn't go into enough detail of like actual things that they have in common. And the interesting thing about this is that we talked about this during our live about how for these two, it might not come down to money, like with Anton and Allie, it might be a money situation. But with these two, it might end up being a lifestyle different situation, which is technically related to money, but it's a little bit different.
I play tennis, I play golf, I like to go to nice restaurants often.
Like, I like fancy restaurants too.
You say you like nice restaurants, but we have no clue. Like, it's like, what does he like to do? He works, he has Luca, he goes to the gym.
You didn't fall in love with me because my hobbies.
That argument that they had was very much based on the fact that they live very different lifestyles. He's hustling at work, he's grinding, you know, he's trying to work hard now so that he doesn't have to work hard later. She's already done that work, and so she wants to go play tennis on a Wednesday afternoon. She wants to go to Italy for vacation. She wants to do all these things. Not that he doesn't want to, but he simply does not have time to. He's working, he's a father, you know. She has a very get up and go life because she has the money to, and she doesn't have kids. She's not tied down. She can literally do whatever she wants. He can't, and that's also okay. And she doesn't want to have to be home all the time, and that's also okay. She just won't have to give up her lifestyle. He can't give up his lifestyle. Neither are wrong, but they aren't going to be able to come to a common ground about it. Alter prediction for these two, I thought they were both going to say yes last week, but after this, I feel like they both should say no. They should say no. I feel like they might want to work through it, but they should say no. It's going to be a clash all the time. She shouldn't have to give up her carefree lifestyle, and he cannot afford physically or monetarily to give up his lifestyle. And it's not fair to either of them. Everybody should win. And, you know, like I say, people always confuse compromise with settlement. In this situation, I think it's a little bit of a gray area. There is some compromise that can happen. Yeah, he could want to talk a little bit more when he gets home. She could give up a vacation or two. But the more and more people start to give up things, it is going to become a settlement. Outside of that, I ain't gonna lie. Megan, she got me with that whole numerology house thing.
Okay, so you add up all the numbers of your address. So like my LA home is 124. So that's 1 + 2 + 4 is 7. And a 7 home is all about inward, spiritual, finding yourself.
I started adding my numbers together. I was like, yeah, it's accurate. It's kind of adding up. I will see y'all on the 24th for Hocus Pocus night and on the 29th for the Love is Blind reunion. Both are happening on Discord. The link is in the description box, and I'll see you later. Bye. Now, let's start with Jason and Madison. Jason, that is not that man's name. Why did I say Jason? Who the hell is... Oh, because I was just thinking about selling Sunset. That's why. Go get yourself a psychiatrist. Shadow. What are you doing? Now what you over there breaking? You break it, you buy it. Yeah, okay, yeah, now he coming back. now he coming back. He don't want to break him by. And then I'm gonna start the Edmond and Kalybriah section with Edmond, or with Kalybriah calling him a bitch. What's this man's? I keep wanting to say Edward. It's kind of, it seems to be, she absolutely better say yes. No, she better say no.
This is not a test.